how does Josh Heupel evaluate talent? The ultimate question when he was hired, and you would agree with this, Caleb, and it's brought to you by Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn, was can he recruit with the big boys? Well, I think the early returns are probably they've had a top 10-ish class. I think you need to have a top 5-ish class, but they've had a top 10-ish class. So, Caleb, I would say probably he can. And I think there are questions about the evaluations of Tennessee's transfers, which we did get into, but I want to get into that a little more. It's 4 Downs, and it's brought to you by our friends at Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn.
4 Downs. 4 questions. 4 answers. The Dave Hooker Show.
4
Downs. A presentation of offthehooksports.com.
All righty. Heupel's best pickup. Heupel's best proven pickup. How does he evaluate talent? All of that and more as we get to 4 Downs. And Cooper Mays, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Please do that. And also, if you can, be sure and let me have you give us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you are. We really appreciate that. Like and subscribe. Turn your notifications on. What down is it, Coop?
Coop here. First down.
All right, first down. Heupel's best high school pickup. Not a Jeremy Pruitt player, and there still are some, because everybody gets like 38 years to play college football nowadays with COVID. But Heupel's best pickup, proven, so you can't go Nico, is whom?
You do know that you totally messed up my game when you said his best high school pickup, right? Because I was about ready to go Brew McCoy. And
well, we can do that too. Hold on, we'll get to that.
But you just ruined me. You disgust me, Dave. His best high school pickup to this point is James Pierce. It's James Pierce.
I think it's James Pierce. I think it might be Arian Carter one day. So I'll go with those.
Well, Arian Carter and Dylan Sampson. It'll be both of them one day.
Well, you have to give Squirrel White. So do we want to say kind of a top quattro?
I can't go Squirrel White yet. All I got with him for meaningful play is the bowl game, and the bowl game didn't happen, and I was right, and you and Jimmy Hyams and everybody else was wrong on that because I told you it didn't happen. It happened in your head. You dreamed it, and that's all we got with Squirrel White for meaningful snaps so far.
Well, I personally take bowl games with a grain of salt, so I'm not sure that I was quite as far on that side as you were.
It was bowl games are illusions, literally illusions. You're not watching a game, guys.
Yeah, and the thing that was weird to me is it was almost like they wanted to get Cade Klubnik some different looks, and they were trying out stuff. It was almost like a spring game for them. Look at me. I have no contacts, no glasses. Why? Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Enjoy life when you see better. Local vision service for LASIK, cataract surgery, and regular eye examination. ccteyes.com, or look in the comments below. ccteyes.com. Local vision. What down, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right. Who's their best transfer pickup? Has to be Brew, right?
It's Brew McCoy. This is obvious. It's Brew McCoy.
I don't even know who's second. I mean,
Charles Campbell.
It may end up being Gabe Judy Lawley because he's a utility guy.
Castles, but no. Look, I can't really.
It would have been Keenan Pili. Pili would have at least been in the conversation, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said Gerald Mincy going into this year. I would have said Gerald Mincy, but it's Gerald Mincy Gerald Mincy's turning into evidence of Heupel not evaluating talent well. So that's because he just hasn't taken that next step.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you this: the best pickup that now I want to talk about a guy that has not even been on the field. So this is purely a recruiting question. But the best pickup you think Tennessee has gotten under Heupel that hasn't spread his wings and flown quite yet? So I'm asking you to project.
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
And that's third down.
That one's another easy one. It's Nico Iamaleava. Nico Iamaleava is going to be the savior for Josh Heupel because I don't want to say he landed in his lap, but with NIL, he landed in Josh Heupel's lap the way Tim Tebow landed in Urban Meyer's lap.
Okay. I'll give you Nico because I knew you were going to go in that direction. I will say the Okoye kid who plays tight end and Ethan Davis who plays tight end deserve to be in that conversation. Defensively, Arian Carter is kind of the answer to both. We've seen flashes, but he's not proven. So maybe you got a little bit of overlap there. What down, Coop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. Fourth down.
So it sounds like we're saying that talent evaluation and recruiting is a concern. Is it, or are we overreacting after 3 games?
It's a giant concern. And I'm going to lay out the reasons why real quick, Dave, a few. First of all, outside of Brew McCoy, there's been nobody that Heupel has signed that we can say has been a pleasant surprise or just that people are happy with how they've played for Tennessee at this point. It's been all Jeremy Pruitt recruits. Heupel went out and got Joe Milton and forced Harrison Bailey and Brian Maurer into the transfer portal, kicked Kaidon Salter off the team, and then named Joe Milton the starter over Hendon Hooker when it's so obvious by the day Hendon Hooker was better. And here's the biggest evidence of this. I'm going to bring this up, guys. We overlooked this when he was at UCF. But what does he do? He takes over in 2018 and he repeats what Scott Frost did and goes undefeated. They go 10-3 the next year, 6-4. They got progressively worse as Heupel's own players got there to UCF. I didn't think that was a red flag at the time, but now I'm starting to think 12-0, 10-3, 6-4. The more players Heupel got, the worse UCF got.
Well, here's what I think. I think they never got elite players, and I think because they're UCF, and I think they depended on Heupel's scheme offensively to overcome that. I do think that he'll be okay long term, and it's because of the Carters of the world and the Ethan Davises of the world that he won battles with against big time competition. I mean, Arian Carter could have gone wherever he wanted. So could Ethan Davis. So I really think that his talent evaluation is going to prove to be okay. I think he got a little enamored with the transfer portal. And I think in retrospect that at Tennessee, in order to grow organically, I used to work in digital marketing. So the difference between growing organically, like when you search something on Google, this, is it comes up on a Google page. If you have the Google ad, that's like a transfer portal player. You can put the ad up there and it shows up, but it doesn't mean that it's the best service over time for those people that show up with high ratings on a Google search. So I think it's somewhat like that. Was that a good analogy or a terrible one?
No, that's a great one. But Dave, I got to push back only I get what you say with the UCF players, but this. Evaluating is much, much harder as you get to the lower levels. Like your ability to evaluate is more important if you're at like a UCF versus if you're at Tennessee, because and this might save Josh Heupel. I'll say this. When you're at this level, if you're recruiting at the top level, you even said you can tell a 5-star from a 1-star. I think 5-star talent ain't that hard to find. I think we can figure out 5-star talent. We can just look at my wife can look at a high school player that's a 5-star and say, oh yeah, he's going to be great in college. Okay. I really so that's the thing that'll help Heupel. Whereas at UCF, you have to think a little more about who you're getting and who fits your scheme. And so that's what might save Heupel. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear at this point that his talent evaluation is lacking. He hasn't proven anything yet as far as a talent evaluator. And the only reason and by the way, before you say Brew McCoy was an obvious talent. He just had off the field issues.
No, you're right. But I'm going to say that I think there are a couple of guys. I don't like Willie Martinez particularly as a secondary coach, but I'll tell you that I think he's He's a good talent evaluator. I think Rodney Garner is a good talent evaluator. And I think they determine what is a 3-star in an analyst's mind and what should be a 4-star. And I think that they're pretty good at that. And I think that's why you've seen the Pierces of the world and the Ethan Davises, which we haven't seen yet, but the Pierces of the world, the Arian Carters start to filter up in the depth chart. I just think that Tennessee was darned and determined to load up on transfer portal guys, and that's the ones they missed on. And I said this before this week. I'd rather have the guy like McCallan Castles that is at UC Davis and is starring there and appreciates the new role and what he's able to get than a guy like Dante Thornton, who only started 3 games last year. And we all got excited about him because he looked a little bit like Randy Moss. But he only started 3 games last year, and it was because of an injury in front of him. And he ended up with 30-some-odd catches for 300 yards and just 1 touchdown. Was he a cast-off from Oregon? I don't know, but I think it's worth asking the question now, isn't it? Was John
undefeated? They're going to be the center of college football this weekend playing Colorado.
Yeah, so they're not hurting. I mean, they're not upset that Dante Thornton's still gone. Was John Campbell a cast-off? I don't know, but I can empathize in Josh Heupel's position because you don't get 3 and 4 and 5 years to rebuild a program, especially with what Deion Sanders is doing nowadays, with that we're going to get to. And he felt like he had to plug holes now and keep the momentum going in what you could argue would be a down year. I mean, Tennessee lost their 2 best offensive linemen from last year. They lost the Blitnikoff Award winner. They lost their quarterback. And we just rolled into this year saying everything's going to be great. Guys, this could be a bridge year. This could be a bridge year to get the Pierces more play in the world, to get the Carters more play, to get the Nicos more play, even though you disagree with that, and get an offensive line set and ready for the 2024 season. That is not outside the realm of possibility that this is a bridge year. I think a lot of that determines what happens at the quarterback position.